Hi everyone, welcome to the weekly review of my M1 Finance dividend portfolio. Before I get into the details, there was a wild update on my portfolio, like literally, I don't know, 5 minutes ago, where the balance was $244,000 because the SCHD three split, or however you say that, it like overvalued my stocks. So like my SCHD portfolio balance was like six figures. It was just wild and insane. I'm so mad I didn't record the video when it was that balance, because I was just like, oh my goodness, this is awesome. If whatever error happened, if it can just stay. But of course they corrected it. So it was nice to see that $244,000 balance, but now it's gone and I'm back to reality. So anyway, so I swear I'm being honest. Like my balance was 244,000 when I was logging into my M1 Finance portfolio. All right, let's just put that aside and come down to reality. So, balance on the portfolio is $197,613.77. We are literally less than $5,000 to $200,000. We're literally less than $5,000. So, you can probably assume, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, that maybe in next week's update, I might actually be at 200,000, which is going to be a lot sooner than what I thought, because originally I was planning to see if I can hit 200,000 by December, but I have been doing some erratic movements, pulling money from my emergency fund, from my kiddos' investment sinking fund, and putting it all into the brokerage account, because I'm just so anxious to get this brokerage account over $200,000 already. So it feels really good to see that it's technically less than $3,000, right, to $200,000. So this is awesome. All right, let's go ahead and look at what happened the past week. All right, so the past week portfolio was up overall $2,253.64, or 1.16%. So pretty big increase, I would say. Very happy with that. Let's go ahead and look at my holdings. So I have three holdings. The first is VU, which is essentially the S&P 500. The balance on that, not the balance, sorry. The overall gain for the past week was 1.16%, or $1,432.18. SCHD was up 1.15%, or $799.56. So once the stock split happened on Friday and the shares got updated, SCHD just spiked in terms of return, which is really great. And then QQQM was up 1.24%, or $21.90. So before I move over and talk about the deposits, let's just look at the SCHD stock split, the 3-for-1. So prior, I had 824 shares of SCHD, and now I have 2,472 shares. So that's pretty cool to have that much more shares of SCHD. As you can see here, my average share price did not change. I know the price is around $28 or so per share, but my average share price is still $73.98. So that didn't get updated, but the overall value of the holding didn't change at all, which is fine, and that's expected in a stock split. Like, your value don't go up. All right, let's go ahead and look at the deposits for the past week. So a couple things happened. So starting on October 7th, I put in $350. Then later that day, I put in $2,200. If you're wondering where did I get $2,200 to put in, That's money that I pulled from my emergency fund and my kiddos investment sinking fund. You can watch those videos to see the damage that I did there, but that's where the $2,200 came from. And then I put in another $100. So for the past week, I put in $2,650. And you see here, it traded on October 7th. I got 2 buys. One is VU, $2,619.82. Went into VU, I got 4.98 shares. And then the balance of $30.17 went into QQQM, and I got 0.15 share. Now, also, here's a recording of the stock split. So as I said, I had 824 shares. You see here, it got surrendered for SCHD. And then with the stock split, here's a 2,472 shares that was added. So that's pretty cool. I've never owned an ETF that had a stock split before, so I didn't even realize that they would actually record it, which is great, right? They should in your activity. So you can see what was like released and what you actually got in return. And then for next week, we're going to talk about this. I have a huge deposit going in. Next week is a payday. Well, I've actually already got paid. And yes, I am chucking all that entire paycheck into the brokerage account to get it to that $200,000 balance. But again, we'll talk about it shortly. So that's the $6,000 pending deposit you see here. Didn't actually get traded yet. It will trade on Monday. All right, so let's go back to the main page. Let's look at the recap. So the week I started at $192,710.14. I put in $2,650, which we just reviewed. And then the market gain of $2,253 is what brings the balance up to $197,613.77. So really solid week, I would say, for the portfolio. And if we go and look at the holdings, overall, it's up $23,977.56 or 13.81%. I know this is the highest unrealized gain that I've ever seen for the portfolio, so it's really nice to see new numbers. Let's look at the hold-in. So VU is up 12.89% or $14,305.62. SCHD is up 15.73% or $9,591.32. And QQQM is up 4.71% or $80.62. So as I was saying before, I'm really committed to getting this portfolio up to 200,000. I've depleted my entire emergency fund, my entire sinking fund for my kiddos investment account because I just want to get it to 200. I feel like I'm pushing this really, really, really heavy boulder up a steep mountain and I'm almost at the top and I just literally just want to give one hard push and just get the boulder over the top so it can start just rolling down the mountain at an insane speed. So that's the same analogy I have for my portfolio. So with that, as I mentioned, I get paid twice a month. The next paycheck for this month is going to be October 15th. But I think because of the holiday, we got paid out on Saturday. I'm not sure why. We got paid a couple extra days in advance, but I'm not complaining. So I'm putting that entire paycheck, that entire paycheck to the brokerage account because I just want to, again, give it that final hard push over the mountaintop. So with that, I have $6,000 going in to trade on Monday. And let's see, here's the breakdown in terms of how the money will get allocated. You see here, $3,029.14 will go to VU. $2,280.97 will go to QQQM, and then $689.89 will go to SCHD. So this is the first time in a really, really long time where my deposit will actually get traded in all of my holdings, and that's because I updated the percentage for each holding. So we'll talk about that shortly too. But this is what it will look like when it trades on Monday. Really happy to be putting money back into SCHD. And, it's definitely ETF that I love, and I want to continue to have it grow and invest in it. So I really like the fact that my now future deposits, they're all going to be allocated across three of my holdings because I want to grow all three holdings. So I know every single week won't be exactly all three, but I would say probably 98% of the time my deposits will go into all three holdings, which is great. And that's because I updated my portfolio allocations. As you see here, if we just look at VU, I updated the portfolio allocation for VU to be 63% of the portfolio. It's currently 63.3%. SCHD, I have at 35%. It's currently 35.7%. And then the only major change, well, actually, these were all like semi-major changes, but I did up the portfolio allocation for QQQM to 2%. Prior, it was 1%. And it's currently 0.9% of the portfolio. This is why there's a larger amount going to QQQM out of the $6,000 deposit. So that's the new updated portfolio allocation. I know I've changed this allocation 1,000 times at this point, but I'm just going to keep it steady state for now where it is and adjust as needed. I do want to build up my QQQM position. So I think over time, I'll pull a percentage most likely from VU. So bring down VU and have QQQM eventually be 5% of the portfolio. VU would be 60%, SCHD 35%. That's what I'm thinking now, right? Don't quote me, don't hold me to anything. But with that larger deposit, pending the stock market doesn't crash, like completely crash next week, right? Hopefully I'll be over $200,000 at that point. So that will be an exciting update video for next week if that happens, right? We'll see how the stock market performs. But this is where I am, less than $3,000 to $200,000. And yeah, feeling pretty good. Definitely a lot of hard work and sacrifice to get this done, right? So put in $6,000 into this portfolio next week, essentially my entire check, right? That means I don't go on vacations. I don't buy myself really nice things. I bought a home that was severely below my financial means, meaning I could have gotten a way bigger home, a way more expensive home based off my income, but I didn't. I got something much cheaper. So because of that, I have a lot of margin or a lot of excess in my paychecks because my monthly expenses are not high relative to my income, right? Because we're all different. We all have different income levels, but it's very affordable relative to my income. So again, that gives me the flexibility to send an entire check to invest in. All right, so that is the update for this week, and I'll catch you next week. Bye.